What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some breaking news, as it looks like newly crowned, undefeated Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr. will be back in return in action June 5th in Australia, at a major arena, okay? So what's being reported is that George Kambosos Jr. will be back fighting in Australia or June 5th, okay? With that said, it's being reported that two-time Olympic gold medalist, three-division world champion, Ukrainian superstar boxer who was formerly the unified lightweight world champion, VASILY Lomachenko, is the front runner to land the fight with George Kambosos Jr. So it looked like VASILY Lomachenko is the front runner according to these reports. Devin Haney, undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney, is still in the contentions. But this fight is going to be in Melbourne, Australia, and again, VASILY Lomachenko, who is in the lead. George Kambosos Jr. is 20 wins, no losses, no draws, 10 wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, 5'9.5", with a 70-inch arm reach. So with that said, it looks like Lomachenko, who is 16 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 11 wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'6", with a 64-inch arm reach. Okay. So with that said, it looks like we're going to get possibly George Kambosos Jr. versus VASILY Lomachenko, but Devin Haney is still, in the running to face off against George Kambosos Jr. for official undisputed showdown. Okay. So I highly doubt, and I'm having a hard time believing that, this is going to be at Marvel Stadium, Australia's Marvel Stadium, okay, June 5th. So I highly doubt that Bob Arum, legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter of VASILY Lomachenko, is going to put up massive amount of money to stage a showdown between George Kambosos Jr. and VASILY Lomachenko, okay? To me, this is a clear situation where George Kambosos Jr. is not comfortable with fighting Devin Haney, okay? Because we know that Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn and DAZN are willing to put up big money for George Kambosos Jr. and Devin Haney, okay? We know that they're willing to put up more money than Bob Arum and Top Rank, okay, to face off against George Kambosos Jr. in Australia on top of that, okay? So we know that there's no way possible Bob Arum and Top Rank and ESPN are willing to stage this fight in Australia, pay George Kambosos Jr. a boatload of money to fight VASILY Lomachenko, and he's calling all the shots in Australia, okay? If Bob Arum never viewed George Kambosos in high regards, not before he fought former unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez, nor after, okay? He didn't hold him in high regards when Teofimo Lopez was looking to fight him as his IBF mandatory challenger. He stated that, he's just not a good fighter. He's not a big name. He's not a major draw. Okay. Yes, he shocked the world. He beat Teofimo Lopez November 27th in New York at Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world. But again, he's not a major star, okay? Let's just make that clear, okay? He's known for beating Teofimo Lopez. Not too many people, if any, knew who he was before the Teofimo Lopez fight, and his name has been gotten bigger off of the Teofimo Lopez fight. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, the fact that his name is being involved with Devin Haney, is being involved with, VASILY Lomachenko, it's just, it's just a situation where, it's very sad to me, okay, in the sport of boxing, because George Kambosos Jr., he did a lot of talking and a lot of posturing, claiming that he wanted to fight for undisputed, and it wasn't about the money, and it was about legacy and the biggest name and entertaining the fans, okay, and fighting the best, okay. He stated that he understood that he needed to beat Devin Haney to officially be named undisputed, okay. And so With that said, you know, it makes sense for him. It just should be simple mathematics that he face off against, Devin Haney for official undisputed showdown. Okay, history can be made, and he's going to get the biggest payday of his career. I know that ESPN, it'll be staged. This fight will be staged. It'll be June 4th here in the States. Okay, so with that said, I know ESPN. I mean, it'll be June 4th in Australia. It'll be June 5th here in the States. With that said, ESPN are not going to put up a boatload of money for this fight. So I know DAZN and Devin Haney are going to put up the necessary money to stage this fight. And it just should. George Kambosos Jr., he told the world that I know I have to go through Devin Haney to be undisputed. I know I have to, legacy is on the line, and now he changed his status to undisputed. And this confusion it clearly falls on the WBC, World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Sulaiman, and the 32 board members with the WBC, okay? Because they are the ones that introduced this franchise title. If they never introduced the franchise title, we don't have this type of confusion. It's clear cut, okay? There's the fact that Mauricio Sulaiman sits on a panel and does interviews and tell the world that George Kambosos Jr. is undisputed. It's horrible for the sport of boxing, and it just adds more confusion to the sport of boxing, okay? And again, okay, we have a situation where the boxing world doesn't acknowledge George Kambosos Jr. nor Teofimo Lopez as undisputed. There's only 6 undisputed 4 major sanctioned belt holders in the history of the sport of boxing, and they're not one of them. You have Bernard Hopkins at 1, Jermaine Taylor at 2, who beat Bernard Hopkins. Terrence Crawford at 3. He did so at junior middleweight. Then you at number 4, you have Oleksandr Usyk, who did it at cruiserweight. And at 5, you have Josh Taylor, who repeated Terrence Crawford at junior welterweight. And then you have most recently Canelo Alvarez doing so November 5th when he defeated Caleb Plant at super middleweight. There's only 6 in the history of the sport of boxing, and they're not one yet. He's parading around and with the title of undisputed, knowing that the boxing world doesn't acknowledge him as undisputed. Because if that was the case, then Canelo Alvarez couldn't claim to be the 6th undisputed champion in the history of the sport of boxing. Yet, these are the same fans that will say Canelo Alvarez is the 6th undisputed champion in the sport of boxing in history, but they'll be the same fans that tell you that Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. If that's the case, then Canelo Alvarez can't consider himself the 6th undisputed champion in history of the sport of boxing, because Teofimo Lopez beat Vasily Lomachenko before Canelo Alvarez beat Caleb Plant. So that would make Canelo Alvarez the 7th undisputed champion in the history of the sport of boxing. Okay, but the fact that the WBC has introduced this confusion to the sport of boxing is what's alarming. Okay, and that's what's disappointing. Okay, they should have never introduced the franchise title to the sport of boxing, and they're changing the rules as you go. Initially, they stated you can't win it, and then they stated that it was an acknowledgement and a trophy, so to speak, to the fighter and their accomplishments. And they said you can't win or lose it, and now they changed it to now you can win it. And then they stated you had to petition for it, yet George Kambosos Jr. and his team said they never petitioned the WBC to be franchised. So how would they award it the franchise title? It just confuses and causes more confusion and disappointment in the sport of boxing. So it should just be simple mathematics with George Kambosos Jr. claiming he wasn't going to do what Teofimo Lopez did when it came to Devin Haney, and he was going to fight Devin Haney. But yet here we are again, with George Kambosos Jr. backtracking and contradicting himself once again. Okay, so Vasily Lomachenko, who lost to Teofimo Lopez. So you want to fight the man that beat the man. You beat the man that beat the man, and you want to fight that man who had a fight against Richard Comey and Nakatani. Nakatani has never fought for a world title, nor has he ever won a world title. And Richard Comey has multiple losses and brutally knocked out against Teofimo Lopez. So how does that garner you to want to fight Vasily Lomachenko? And how did that garner Vasily Lomachenko to be in the top 5 pound for pound list again, beating this level of competition? But yet they'll tell you that Devin Haney hasn't fought anybody, but him beating Nakatani, never fought for a world title, and not a world champion, is viewed higher than Jorge Linares, Yuriorkis Gamboa, and Joseph Jojo Diaz. Only in the world of the sport of boxing can this take place. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. June 5th, George Kambosos Jr., Melbourne, at the Marvel Stadium in Australia. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.